Most people only hear one thing when they hear of APO or APO4. It's the Alzheimer's gene. We're gonna break down what it really is, what are the cons, and what are some of the pros? What are some of the benefits of having this as a genetic component for you? So, the APO4 gene helps to move cholesterol around the body. It helps with nerve repair or neuron repair. You can have a multitude of these variants. There are 4 subtypes, E1, 2, 3, and 4. You get one from your mom, one from your dad. Typically, APOE4 is what's deemed as the Alzheimer's gene or the Alzheimer's component. This tends to give you a higher risk of Alzheimer's, a higher risk of inflammation, and a worse response to certain diets. What does this mean? How can you still optimize your life knowing if you have this gene or maybe not? Although there is a risk with this genetic factor, that does not mean your destiny. That does not mean that has to happen. Sure, it might open up the likelihood, but it doesn't make it true. Your lifestyle, your actions affect what's called epigenetics, which truly gives us how our genes are expressed in our life and what that actually means to you in a day-to-day aspect. I'm going to talk on some of the good things about APO4 and what some of the things that most people don't think about when they think about hearing this gene. There are tons of benefits to this, and some of the benefits are ultimately, unfortunately, what lead to its pitfalls and its cons. You get an enhanced immune response. You get a better brain function in the scarcity of resources. You get a superior response to environmental changes. And you get an extra edge on creativity, cognitive thinking. What's this mean, right? APO4 individuals often have a stronger, more robust inflammatory process. This is great in terms of healing from a scrape, healing quickly from a concussion, healing from an infection, not getting sick as often, which is unfortunately the same inflammatory response that aggregates protein aggregates in the brain and creates the pathophysiology of Alzheimer's as we know. Yes, that can be the risk, but all the benefit that comes with a better inflammatory response was actually favorable when we were hunter-gatherers back in the day. You were the one that were able to get scrapes on your feet and be okay. You were the one that could eat bad meat and not get sick from it. You were the one in the tribe, in your town, in your people, your community, that was the resilient one. Like this proper or stronger, more robust immune response sets you up to fend off those pathogens way better than the person next to you. However, we do need to be careful with what we add on a daily basis in inflammation so that we don't overactivate that response and create negative aspects to it. APO4 individuals conserve brain energy differently. This is you being able to respond favorably to intermittent fasting, to ketosis, to things that typically limit energy supplies in the brain. Your brain tends to thrive in these situations, and that's the genetic component and the genetic benefit to APO4. However, at the same token, if you're fueling this brain with constant intake of added sugars, or constant saturated fats and poor diet and not enough exercise, those accumulations and that maybe efficiency in the fuel sourcing, you've now overexceeded what your fuel tank could hold, and that has to get deposited somewhere. You have a better response to physical and environmental changes. This is physical activity. This is feeling stressors in your environment. This is feeling calm in stimulating environments. Right? You're able to stay focused. You're able to work out every day and not feel that soreness that maybe others do. You're able to perform better with less. Some of the literature, some of the research does point to better cognitive thinking and better utilization of the brain in connecting the left brain in logical thinking and the right brain in imaginative thinking and helping to bridge those gaps a little better. We don't quite understand why that is the case. Doesn't necessarily fit the bill in better efficiency of fuel sourcing and a better utilization of the fuel itself. However, personally, I think that improving how we use fats, being a little more efficient in that inflammatory response helps to improve what's called neuroplasticity in the brain and making better connections. If you have a better efficiency, better fuel, and a stronger immune system, you can bridge this gap a little better than maybe most. Some of the things that we as APO4 individuals should prioritize. And yes, I say we. I am in that category. I use these as the benefits and the strengths in my life with a high consideration on this list that I'm about to give you. Sleep, absolutely one of the most important aspects for APO4 individuals. When we sleep, particularly in what's called delta sleep or delta deep sleep, our neurons and our what's called lymphatic system, a specialized lymphatic system within our brain, activates, and we can clear up toxins or protein aggregates in the brain. That only happens while we sleep. Prioritize your deep sleep. Prioritize your sleep. Limit your inflammation in what you can control. As APO4 individuals, you tend to have a larger response towards inflammation. This is a good thing. It can also be a bad thing if you're constantly putting inflammation in your body through diet. Opt for the foods and the nutrition that's going to provide you lower levels of inflammation. Improve your metabolic health. Improve how your blood's flowing, improve how you're burning fuels, exercise, sauna, possible supplements that help upregulate metabolism. These kinds of things do wonders for your fuel efficiency and your ability to activate these immune responses in good parameters. Avoid chronic stress. Obviously, that's a loaded ask, right? But rather practice proper stress management. This could be breath work, this could be meditation, this could be therapy, this could be neurofeedback, this could be making sure that you take time in your day to get outside, take a slow walk, and decompress. Improve mitochondrial functions. You can do this through red light therapy. You can do this through breath work. You can do this through certain supplements like methylene blue or NAD or creatine or PQQ or copper peptide or a whole host of other mitochondrial enhancers. Pay close attention to your gut-brain axis. This goes hands in hand with your nutrition. This goes hands in hand with your metabolics. This goes hand in hand with paying attention to inflammation in your diet. All right, so listen to your gut-brain interactions. Make sure that your microbiome's in check. Make sure you're listening to your hunger signals. Make sure you're listening to your fullness signals and eat appropriately. One of my best tips for patients and for people as a whole is be with your food, be with it. Eat it, enjoy it, be with people that you enjoy being around while you eat. These things cultivate a very healthy relationship with food. You can also employ functional neurology applications and therapies like at places like Axon that can very much help to improve your metabolics, your mitochondrial health, you got brain access, your brain inflammation as a whole, all kinds of things. So look towards individuals in the functional neurology, functional medicine space to help you achieve some of these goals or touch on some of these key important factors. If you've tested positive for APO4, please do not panic. This is not a death sentence. This is not your destiny. This is just more information. What you choose to do with that information is your choice. But some of these things, if you throw in the towel and you just start eating like an asshole, you've signed yourself up for that destiny. If you let chronic stress get the best of you because you're afraid of what this might bring, you've thrown in the towel. Do your due diligence. Genetic inputs and genetic variants are nothing more than just knowledge. That's it. You do with that knowledge as you please. Work on proper inflammation control. Work on your metabolics. Work on your mitochondria and cellular health. Work on your stress responses. Work on your brain and your gut. These things, almost without saying whether you're dealing with APO4 or not. However, if you've got an APO4 genetic variant, do not panic. Make sure you're doing these things. You're optimizing sleep. You're optimizing your diet, and reach out to some professionals that can help guide you along the way. In short, use this information to tailor best practices in your brain and your health moving forward. If you want to take a deep dive into your neurometabolic capacity and you want to learn more about your brain and ways that you can help it and help improve metabolism and help avoid what might be or what your risk factors include, give us a call here at Axon and we can help you get started in the right direction.